Why did the white-clad woman who met at the intersection of the morning road follow her home for thousands of miles? What caused her to run, chase, and fly south? A netizen shared her strange story. Let's start today's story. The following story is called Jia. It happened in April of 2022 when Jia was working at a company in Haining, Zhejiang. She worked overtime because she was busy. The next day at 2 a.m, Jia's apartment was less than 2 kilometers away from the company, so she chose not to go back. The streets were very quiet at night. When she walked to the door, she suddenly saw a woman in white on the side of the road. Her hair was very long and covered half of her face before her chest. At midnight, she was so nervous that she looked at her eyes more and didn't dare to stop. She quickly went upstairs and went home. After a simple wash, Jia fell asleep. But not long after she fell asleep, she was woken up by a sound. It was as if someone was walking around the door. It was 3:55 in the morning. Jia was staying in a multi-story apartment building. There was often tenants who were wandering in the corridor drunk. She was too sleepy at the time, so she didn't think much and kept sleeping in a blanket. But the footsteps outside the door were getting more and more urgent, and the sound of the iron chain dragging on the ground was so loud that the people who were noisy could not sleep at all. Xiao Jia took the things from the hand and prepared to see what was going on. When he walked to the door, Xiao Jia looked out through the cat's eye and suddenly opened the door. The strange thing is that the corridor was empty, and the footsteps and the iron chain were also on fire. Although Jia felt a little abnormal, she was tired and sleepy. She didn't think much and went straight back to sleep. Everything was normal the next day. After work, Jia used the washing machine to wash a few clothes and play a few games on the bed. Suddenly feeling thirsty, she went downstairs to the convenience store to buy some drinks. It was more than 8 o'clock. When she walked to the door of the convenience store, Jia saw the white woman standing at the intersection. He was staring at her, looking at her with a lot of hair on her body. He felt that something was wrong. He paid for the drink and rushed upstairs. After returning home, Jia was very nervous. He always felt that the strange sound last night had something to do with this woman. So he decided to do something. He used the old house to close the door. He used a rope to hang a kitchen knife on the door. Then he went to the balcony to hang clothes. She was so scared that she almost fainted while undressing. The white woman was standing right below her. She thought of the footsteps and the chain sound. She thought the room was closed. She got dressed and ran downstairs. She didn't dare to take a photo with her. She was running to a bar in the distance. She stayed there for the night. After work, she told her best colleagues about the 2 days of experience and asked his colleague to stay with him for a night to see if he could come back. The company was still busy that day, and it was almost 9 o'clock when they got off work. When they arrived at Jia's house, he looked around to see if there was a figure of a white woman. He didn't see the figure of the white woman, so he took a breath. When they got home, they played games until 12 o'clock and was ready to go to bed. Because it was a one-man army, they were squeezed into a bed and soon fell asleep. At around 1 a.m, Jia woke up by the footsteps outside the door. The voice was louder than last time, and even his colleagues were awakened. They were discussing whether to open the door to see if the sound suddenly disappeared. They were both very sleepy and then fell asleep. In the middle of the night, Gia suddenly woke up and felt that something had been pulled out. She opened her eyes and found that the quilt on her body was gone. She thought it was his colleague who did it, so he called his colleague. He was still sleeping, and he didn't know where the quilt was. When he opened the door, his quilt was hanging from the door. The colleague was scared too. Gia took something to protect himself and was brave. Gia just walked out to the bedroom door and saw a white figure leaning against him at the kitchen door. This scene made him go crazy and ran back to the bedroom to tell his colleague. "You go and see if there's someone in the kitchen." His colleagues were also scared. They were talking to each other and walking over. As a result, they both saw it. Scared to say a word, he turned around and closed the bedroom door. The house must not stay anymore. They simply wore clothes and went out to the bar again. That night, Xiao Jia was completely sleepless. Now her colleague must not be going to stay with her anymore. If she moved, would that thing follow? Thinking about it, she thought it would be better to go back to her hometown to avoid the situation. She ordered a flight. In the morning, Xiao Jia asked her boss for a long leave. He didn't even get his luggage back from the rental house. I took a plane from Hangzhou Xiaoshan Airport to Chengdu Tianfu Airport. He drove his car non-stop to his hometown in Bajong. He came back home at around 8 p.m. and told his grandma when he got home about his recent experience. Grandma said that the next day she would find a doctor to see him and let him rest. After returning home, Xiao Jia felt much better. It's so far away that I couldn't follow it anymore. He simply took a shower and was ready to lie down to sleep. But I always felt something wrong. That kind of feeling is not good. When Xiao Jia was about to turn off the phone alarm, the light in his eyes was seen through the window of the room. That white woman is standing outside the window staring at him. Xiao Jia was scared and jumped up from the bed and shouted at the door. He's coming! He's coming! Grandma heard the scream and was shocked. She calmed down quickly. She found a bowl of rice and put 3 boxes of rice in the sugar house. She also hung a knife from the kitchen on the door. After doing these, Grandma called her auntie and told her the story. Zia was scared to death. Grandma kept her company and turned on all the lights in the house. She talked to her about her childhood until the act was known. She woke up again in the afternoon. Jia saw 12 big knives on the table and a basket of charcoal on the floor. She asked her grandma what she was doing. Grandma said they were borrowed from the neighbour by the master. After dinner, her auntie borrowed a 17-year-old man. The master brought a lot of bags with him. They were all magic stuff. After entering the room, the master told Jia about what had happened. After listening, he made up a story. His face became very serious. Xiao Jia knew that this was not easy to deal with, and he dared not ask much. Then the gentleman took out the pig's sand and the talisman from the cupboard, a book that he could not understand, and a long red rope. He drew the pig's sand with a high degree of white wine and let Xiao Jia take off her clothes and write on her back. Then the gentleman moved the charcoal to the yard, spread it into a 5 centimeter wide and 40 centimeter long strip, sprinkled with white wine, and then placed 12 knives neatly on the charcoal. After the sky was completely dark, the gentleman lit the charcoal and hung the red rope on the waist of the little girl. The other end, he said, was hung on the white dress girl's body. After doing these, the gentleman was so emotional that he drew a painting in the air with a pen. Suddenly, Xiao Jia felt that there was power behind her. The red rope was tightened. She turned her head curiously and looked away. Yu Zhang saw a white figure standing behind her, and it was very close to her. Scared, her legs were soft. Grandma and auntie hurried up to help her. The gentleman was very busy. You can't turn back. If you turn back, I can't save you. Then let the little armor take off the clothes and shoes and step over the wood-covered kitchen knife. The scene of going up the mountain and down to the sea he only saw in TV series. Full of fear in his heart, afraid to sell it, just in his hesitation, he suddenly felt pushed from behind and stopped, stepping on the kitchen knife. When he stepped on it, I felt a little burning, but it didn't hurt as much as I thought. Zhao Jia quickly stepped on the knife and walked over. During the period, he clearly heard a woman crying behind him. When he walked out of the sea of knives and walked to the ground, he felt much more relaxed. The master let him rest first, and after the coal was destroyed, let the grandma take out the clothes Zhao Jia had worn before and wrap the coal inside. He chose a spot to let Jia dig a hole and bury the cloth wrapped in wood. After being pressed, the gentleman said that this matter was completely resolved. After returning home, Jia asked the gentleman curiously, "I have no grudges with that white-clad girl. Why is she pestering me?" The gentleman said that this woman was killed by someone. She had been following him for a while. Let her remember if she did anything special. Jia thought about it. It was fishing, not work. Suddenly, a few months ago, on the way home from fishing, I found a 10cm long rectangular wooden box. I thought it was valuable, but when I found it, I felt a piece of hair tied up. Zhao Jia felt angry and threw it out. The gentleman said that from that time on, the white-clad woman followed him. She had tried to take several actions before but failed until she encountered her at the intersection that day. At that time, her aura was rather low, and only then did she make a move. Here, Xiang Cheng advises all her brothers and sisters, if you see anything strange or unusual on the street, please don't pick it up out of curiosity. After all, who knows what it might be.